Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you on board here with the Mighty Gator Unleashed. Today's January the 22nd. Is that right? January 22nd, 2023. Oh, here we are. Got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of insanity in the news, like has become the norm. Right now, we got this guy, this hockey player for Philadelphia, Ivan. I don't think I'll try to say his last name. Provorov, something like that. I don't want to slaughter that, so I'm just going to let that go right there. We're going to call this guy Ivan. Um, Ivan refused to wear a rainbow jersey in some kind of recognition of some kind of gay rights movement or something. And the man's being attacked for it. It's being called for him the most brutal things you could possibly imagine. This guy's being attacked simply because he won't allow them to force him to wear a jersey they want him to wear. Now, guys, I'm not for forcing people to do things. That's not what rights and freedoms are about. I am just thrilled. Oh, I am overjoyed that this guy has took a stand. And there was a girl also. I think she was a soccer player that refused to take a knee. I think it was for some kind of Black Lives Matters event. And she won her case and got a settlement. I think over $100,000. That makes me happy too. That gives me hope for our future. Because, guys, those things are insane. It's insane to try to force people to do things. Holy crap, I've wiped out my phone here. You're never going to force people to do things. There's always going to be discrimination. There's always going to be discrimination, and there's always going to be justified discrimination in the mind of the person that's doing the discrimination. And that's okay. We have to accept that. We have to accept that as being totally logical and reasonable. I'm about to enjoy a Butterfinger bar. I like Butterfinger bars. I like a lot of other bars too. I only have one candy bar a day, one pop a day. I work out, try to stay in shape. I think that's good. I like to be healthy. But I've also realized that I don't think popping candy bars is bad for you as some people act like they are. But we're not going to get carried away on that. We're talking about discrimination. Now, Gator, you might say, what in the world, or where are you going with this discrimination? You're talking about a Butterfinger bar. If I choose a Butterfinger bar over a Snickers bar, am I discriminating against that Snickers bar? Am I somehow causing harm to that Snickers bar or to the people that make it? Exactly the same thing, guys. It is exactly the same thing as discriminating against someone that lives a lifestyle that you just aren't comfortable with. It doesn't mean that you hate this person. It doesn't mean that that person is a bad person. It just means they're different. And that's not a bad thing, guys. Everybody is different. Now, where you run into problems is when someone wants to start attacking someone because they're different. and that's happened. And that's probably always going to happen because it's just an imperfect world. That doesn't mean that I'm for it personally, or it doesn't mean that our society is for it. I don't think our society is for it. I think the huge majority of we the people are good-natured, good-willed people. And we're not for seeing someone bullied and beaten and abused and made fun of if they're gay. I'm just going to use that word, gay. At the same time, politics has got involved in all this stuff. And politics is involved in every aspect of our lives, guys. You know, a lot of people just hate politics. And I can understand that. It is very, we're so divided and everybody just gets so angry and upset that I can see people wanting to stay away from it. But we have to face these issues and these problems and settle them and move on. That's just where we are. We have to do this. Um, talk about the discrimination, and specifically talking about back like years ago, and I guess it still goes on. You know, there was a lot of people that once it was exposed that they was gay, especially I think in smaller towns and more rural places, they were abused, maybe even beaten up, mocked, made fun of, and it caused them harm. We can't be for that. That's terrible. We don't need to be mean to anybody, and nobody is for that. I've never seen any politician promote that other than, well, I'm not going to go there. I've seen our current president be extremely racist on TV and interviews for 50 years. But we're kind of on something different. We're not on race. We're on discrimination, and it can pertain to anything different, including race. But now we've reached the point where, and it's not really gays, it's gay rights activists are attacking and bullying people that have a different opinion. They are trying to force people to accept them. And guys, that won't work either. Now, sadly, because politics is involved, legislation has in many cases sided with these people. We've passed, we've seen these hate crime bills passed, making it a felony, making it a felony to assault someone if they're gay or somehow different. I'm sticking that word gay. When it was already a crime to assault someone, why should it be more of a crime to assault someone that's gay versus someone that's straight? Why? We can't do stuff like that. We've got to be logical and rational. Oh, discriminate. The Oxford Desk Dictionary. I'm going to put my faith in them. I assume they have the proper definition of the word discriminate. Make or see a distinction. By definition, the word discriminate means make or see a distinction. Okay, so me personally, if I see a guy running around in high heels with a beard and a dress on, I'm not going to hang around that guy. I don't want anything to do with that guy. I just don't. I feel very uncomfortable around things like that. And that doesn't make me a bad person. That person may look at me, an old white working guy, and feel uncomfortable around me. That's the way it is. We're different. I shouldn't be forced. I shouldn't be labeled as a bad guy for making or seeing a distinction between me and this guy. I shouldn't be labeled as a bad guy or a racist or whatever, or homophobe, or all these big words they throw out here at you today, to confuse and complicate everything. Everybody's got to be labeled in our society today, and that's all bad. All of that is bad. The general label of we the people is, in my opinion, that the huge majority of us are just good-natured, good-willed people. That's just where we are. That's the big class we all fall into. It doesn't matter what color we are. It doesn't matter if we have blonde hair, brown hair, green eyes, blue eyes. It doesn't matter if we're tall, short, fat, skinny. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff has anything to do with it. None of that has anything to do with what's inside here. It just doesn't. You can be any race, gender, any of that stuff, and be extremely bad person or an extremely good person. So, if you don't have things in common with somebody, we can't have a society that forces you to reach out to them and tell them you accept that. So, and this all goes back to this guy, Ivan, who he's discriminating against this movement He doesn't want to be a part of this movement. This doesn't make him a bad guy. But our social media, our world today, this is, and in my opinion, that's the most evil organization that has ever existed. The people that own the media in this country, they are just the most evil, corrupt, ruthless, power-hungry people in the history of mankind. It's my opinion they own the White House. It's my opinion they own almost all the Democrats and a big part of the Republicans that represent us in our country today. That's my opinion, YouTube. That's not information for anyone. That's just simply the opinion of one person. There's over 8 billion people on this planet. This one guy right here, that's my opinion. I believe that. And I can't do anything about it. I can talk about it. I can try. I can do everything I can to elect the best people that we have available running to choose from, and that's not much. I'll just be honest with you, that's not much. Regardless, justified discrimination needs to be accepted. Attacking and bullying people can never be accepted. We need to stand up against that. Doesn't matter if they're gay or if they're straight. And it's to the point now to where straight people are being just attacked, not only in individual situations or an isolated situation, but they're being attacked with their jobs, their property. They're being financially attacked and ruined and destroyed. They're losing jobs and things because of their refusal to bend a knee to the will of these gay rights activists. That's where we are, guys, today in America. And if you voted for Joe Biden, you support that. And if you support that, that's your right. I think it's total insanity. But it still is your right. And because of the past several elections and the lack of interest of we the people in politics, for decades, for most of my life, we the people deserve the hardships we're suffering through today. I'm going to go on with this definition because there's more to it. I touched on make or see a distinction. 2, treat unfavorably, especially on the basis of race, color, or sex. That is not justified discrimination. You cannot treat people unfavorably. You can, this is all my opinion. Every bit of this, obviously this written definition is not my opinion, but my interpretation of that is, it's as simple as what it says. To treat people unfavorably, especially on the basis of race, color, or sex, that's not justified discrimination. You can't treat people unfavorably for any reason, not only race, color, or sex. I bought a Honda motorcycle. I've bought several brand new Honda motorcycles, and I'm probably, if I can sweet talk my wife just right, and I'm really not sure I'm going to be able to pull this one off, I think I'm going to buy another new motorcycle this year, and it's going to be a Honda Rebel 1100T. Really interested in this bike. Anyway, might do a video on that. That's another whole story. When I bought my Honda, a lot of my friends, buddy, they let me have it. They actually, when I bought my last 2 Hondas, I bought a new one in 05, and I got attacked by my Harley friends then. I bought a new one in 14, but it was like a hybrid crotch rocket cruiser. And for some reason, this didn't set off the Harley guys. They was acceptable with that. They just looked at it as a Japanese bike, I guess. But they don't like these Japanese cruisers. I currently own a Honda Fury, and I love it. But when I bought it in 2015, again, these Harley guys, man, they let me have it. You know, they put me down the road. They threw off on my bike, this, that, and the other, and I took it well. I handle things well of that nature. I stood my ground. They're not going to make me buy a Harley. They're not going to make Ivan wear his gay pride shirt. Ivan doesn't support that. Ivan shouldn't have to support that. I like Harleys. I have nothing against Harleys. I think they're sharp. I don't want one. Hondas, they fit my budget better. They are ultra reliable. They're good bikes. You know what we motorcycle riders all share I always talk about basics and simplifying things, guys. Anybody that rides a motorcycle loves that wind, that feel. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a freedom. You get out on a road that there's not a lot of traffic on and ride, and it is just so awesome. I just so love it on a pretty warm day. I'm not one of the diehard guys that rides 7 days a week, winter, 9 degrees, snow on the ground. Don't do all that. In my mind, that's not logical. That's not rational. Uh, but I'm not going to attack those guys that choose to do that. That's their right. They can do whatever they want to, and it doesn't affect me. If I see them out broke down, I'll stop and help them 1,000% of the time any way I can. And a part of me admires them for their passion about the riding. But it's not me. I am different. What does it say here? Make or see a distinction. I see a distinction in me and those guys. I'm not that hardcore of a rider. I love it as much as anybody in the right conditions, but I'm not going to sacrifice things such as a good warm heater, 4 wheels on the ground instead of 2 when it's snowy and wet and it's bad road conditions. Just not going to do it. But that's me. That doesn't make me right and them wrong. Doesn't make them right and me wrong. That's just a distinction. I'm going to go on with this definition. Number 3 on the definition of the word discriminate. Observe distinction carefully. Have good judgment. I mean, gosh, that just clears it up. Then it goes on and it says, it breaks that down into 3 divisions, which are distinguish, separate, discern. By definition, discrimination can be justified. By definition of the word, according to the Oxford Dex, mercy, I can't talk this morning. The Oxford Desk Dictionary. Thesaurus, actually. Haven't got there, though. That's a big word. I ain't much good at those big words. I'm good at words like redneck, beer, riding 4-wheelers, shotgun rifle, 4-wheel drive. Man, those words are fluent for me as an Appalachian American. They just flow effortlessly off my tongue. These big words I ain't so good with. That's who I am. Culture is a big word. That's the culture I was raised in. It's what I've done my whole life. Culture is important. There's different cultures, and when you start making laws based on cultures, you're getting into some really fuzzy territory, in my opinion, and they will not work. And that's been going on now for decades because we have what used to be very relevant in the world was smooth-talking politicians. In the world today of ballot harvesting, smooth-talking politicians have very little advantage over a clown in his basement with a group of very powerful people that want him in office. That's my opinion too, and that's another whole subject as well. But the gist of this video is about this guy Ivan exercising his right to justifiably discriminate against wearing that pride jersey. Well done, sir. I am just equal to death that you're taking this stand. I oppose anybody that attacks you for that stand. I see that your apparel and things are selling out like crazy online. I am going to get online myself and try to buy a jersey. I just think it's great. I think it's absolutely great that you've stood up to these monsters. And they are monstrous bullies. It's one thing to punch somebody in the nose because you disagree with them, but to try to ruin their life, man, that's really getting down there. And that's what we've got today on this woke. We hear this word a lot today, woke, and it's insanity. Joe Biden's all for this society, or at least he thinks he is. My opinion, what a piece of garbage the guy is, but that's my opinion. I'm one guy out of 8 billion in the planet, one guy out of 320 million in the country. I saw a number here over the weekend. 6.2 million illegal immigrants have flooded this country um, since Joe Biden became president in 2 years. Actually, that was more than 2 days ago, so in less than 2 years. That's something, guys. If you voted for him, if you voted for him and you have a fence or a lock, if you have a fence on your property or a lock on your doors, you're a hypocrite. If you don't have your home open to immigrants and have full, complete faith and trust that they are great, honorable people seeking a better life and nothing else, if you don't have your home open to those people and several living with you, you're a hypocrite. Oh, that's just the truth. At least in my world, that's the truth. I guess that's an opinion too, ain't it? I guess everything depends on the point of view. Taxpayers shouldn't have to take care. We shouldn't have open borders, my opinion. It's not logical. It's not rational. I do think we should do all we can to help other people, but you can't help other people when you're in financial ruins yourself. And the United States is in financial ruins. For decades, we have watched our leaders spend billions and trillions of dollars funding wars around the world. Who's benefiting from that? Ukraine, for an example, we've sent over $100 billion to Ukraine. That's a fact, YouTube creators. That's just a simple fact. If anybody don't know that, if that's new information to anybody, then that's a prime example of why we're sitting here with Joe Biden as President of the United States. But who's benefiting from all this stuff? Now, no doubt, clearly, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, he's benefited from us sending billions of dollars over there. He's here at Hollywood at the Golden Globe Awards I saw. What's he doing over here while his people are suffering? That's not a good leader. It's all a show, guys, my opinion. Who's prospered since Joe Biden's been president? All the big drug pharmaceutical companies. I saw where Moderna, Pfizer, what was the other one? Oh man, it almost came to me. There was three of them. Johnson & Johnson. Each of those made trillions of dollars every single quarter in 21 and 22. And I'm going to throw out there also, Donald Trump supported the vaccine. He supported your right. He supported the vaccine to the point of he would recommend you taking it. Versus Biden and his party, the Democrats, forced you to take it. My son had to take the vaccine or he lost his job at Accenture. He had to take that vaccine by a certain date. If he didn't come in there with the vaccination papers, he lost his job. End of story. I have friends that worked in the nursing field, lost their jobs because they refused to get the jab. If you voted for Joe Biden, you voted for that. These people told us that if everybody got vaccinated, there would be no more COVID. That's what they told us. That was misinformation, YouTube creators. And you weak-minded people who will turn somebody in for like me in for a video like this. That was misinformation. They lied to you. Their pals got richer than they've ever been in their lives because they lied to you and you bought it and voted for it. But you'll get mad at me for exposing these things. These simple, and this is anything I bring to you guys is going to be simple because I'm a simple guy. That's why it's been so important that for decades they have indoctrinated these colleges, the high schools, and it's went down even to the elementary schools now. They have to have you brainwashed and mindless because if there's any evidence whatsoever of thought promotion or the ability to think for yourself, in more simple terms, they have to erase that and get that out because if you have any of that, you're not going to be for any of this stuff that our political leaders of the world today are for. And they own it all, guys. They own it all. We're talking about 100% of the Democratic Party, and I would say 40% of the Republican Party now. They infested and overtook the Democratic Party years ago, decades ago, and continued to get a deeper grab on it. They've got almost all the Democrats, and now they're getting the Republicans. And that's what we've got going on. If you don't understand that, I can't make you understand it. That is all my opinion. Anyway, guys, I hope y'all have a great day, great weekend. I hate to be gloom and doom, but we've seen inflation over the last 2 years anywhere from 9% to 400%. If you bought something in 2020 for $4 and it's $16 now, that's 400% inflation, I think. If I'm wrong, correct me. It's a hell of a lot. Several things fall into that category. And we're going to see pain and suffering like we've never thought possible in the years coming. And we deserve it, sadly. But anyway, let's just, I guess, try to make the best of it that we can while we can. Everybody have a great day, great weekend. Today's Sunday. I think I touched on that. Sunday, January 22nd, 2023. Gator Unleashed out. See you on the next video, guys.